What's up, guys? It's Haitian Melanin back with another video, you guys. Back at you with another nursing content. So, in this video, y'all, I'm gonna be basically telling you guys what my experience was like during the hurricane/tornado. Honestly, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Apparently, we had a tornado warning. The hurricane that just occurred and not the tornado. I don't know. Florida is a mess, okay? So if you guys didn't know, I do reside in Florida. And we had a hurricane last week that wasn't so bad. And we had a hurricane this week. So, and last week I didn't have to go to the hospital, but this week I did. So I'm basically gonna tell you guys what my experience was like as a nurse on Team A during the hurricane. So I know last week when they were basically telling us that we might, be going to the hospital, just make sure that we're prepared and stuff. And the whole time, I was very anxious because, the day that we were supposed to go to the hospital, they said that they would call us to let us know. I never received any messages, any calls telling me, to come to the hospital. And I know these things are extremely important. If you're on Team A or Team B to come to the hospital, you have to come to the hospital. I don't know what the consequences are if you don't. I don't know if you're gonna be upheld by the state, by the nursing board, or if you just get fired. I don't know. This is only my first year doing this as a nurse, so I have no clue. So I was extremely anxious. I'm like, did they send out messages? Am I the one who did get the message? Blah, blah, blah. But come to find out, they never activated the teams to come to the hospital. But this time they did. When they had texted us, to let us know that Team A is being activated, they told us that we don't know how long we're going to be in the hospital for. We don't know if we're going to be there for 2 or 3 days. Just make sure that we, pack up the essentials. So I just used my gym bag. I packed 3 scrubs, 2 sweatpants, 2 shirts, my bonnet, toothpaste, toothbrush, soap, things to scrub my skin. What else? I brought towel, I said soap already, bras, underwears, my blow up mattress. I bought water. I bought 3 bowls of food. What else? I brought my retainers that I barely wore. Look at this. I brought my iPad, my chargers, my phone, and that was basically it. So, before coming to the hospital, I had texted my manager because my hospital only has 1 car garage and it's not really big. It's a 3-story car garage. So I messaged my manager. I asked her if there's going to be a safe place for us to park our cars, and she was like, oh, we're going to be guided by security, right? So I'm like, okay, well, at least they're considering, keeping our cars safe. So in case we get flooded or in case, debris start flying around, that our car is safe in the garage. Well, I thought wrong. Okay. So I ended up going to sleep around 2 a.m. They told us to make it to the hospital by 6. But because I'm trying to get the best parking spot, I was trying to wake up at 4, but I ended up waking up at 5. The hospital is 5 minutes away from me. So I got ready and I got at the house at 5:30. So I'm driving around and I don't see I'm like, where do I park? I don't see any security. So then I see a whole bunch of cars parking, in the regular parking spot that we usually park at, which is basically in an open area. That's a cage where we could park our car. And I'm like, no. So I drove around to the parking lot And then I'm like, hey, the parking garage, and I saw security there. I'm like, hey, like, can I park here? And he was like, no, it's only specific people that can park here, da da da. At this point, I'm upset because I'm like, what? Like, I'm supposed to be here and you guys are not doing anything to keep our car safe. Like, what? So I was upset. I was just like, whatever. So I drove back around to the cage, and then I parked my car. And at this time, it was like, drizzling and stuff. And I saw like a whole bunch of people coming out with their belongings to go inside the hospital and stuff. And we were tight. Like, we were just upset. We were telling each other, like, I can't believe that they let us park in the parking garage, da da da. And I'm like, yeah, like, I'm very tight about that, especially since I have a low car. I have a Honda Civic. So I was like, upset because I didn't want my car to be flooded, because no. So then, I ended up walking inside with my stuff. They told us when I got to the unit, they told us where we could put our stuff. So I put my stuff in the room, back and forth, bring my stuff. I made like 3 trips. I ended up being like soaked after that. Like, I was soaked. So I had to change to another uniform. So I hung the uniform that I was wearing before inside, because they had gave us a patient room to put our stuff in. So I put our stuff like inside the patient's closet. It's not a patient, like the patient's room closet to hang it dry. So then later on that day during our shift, like, it was super awkward because we got there like an hour before. I ended up getting there like at 5:50 or 5:40. I don't remember. Like, finished with everything. So then the night shift nurses, who's not on team A, they were trying to give report and go, but we still had to start at 6:45, although everyone is here. So then the manager meet up with us, for a huddle, and we started talking about the hurricane, what's expected. They're gonna, give us free food for our duration here. We need to keep track of the time that we actually work and the time that we're sleeping. What else was she saying? Yeah, that was basically it. And we'll know when we could go home. Right now it's undetermined when we're gonna go home. We'll know when we're able to go home when the county clears clears us, and then the hospital will clear us. But until then, they don't know. What else were they saying? That was basically the gist of it. And then ended up, getting a report. There weren't much patients in the hospital. That's why I like being on team A, because like before the hurricane, they try to discharge as much people as possible. So the hospital is not packed with patients, especially since we're limited on the people that we have. We're limited, like, we don't have any physical therapists. My hospital has a turning team. We don't have turning teams. There's like a lot of staff members and a lot of departments that's not here at the hospital. So they try to limit the amount of patients that we have. So the first day I ended up having 5 patients, and me and this other girl ended up having 5 patients, and everybody else ended up having 4. So 2 of my patients were discharged, but one of them was in a nursing home, and the nursing home didn't have any bed. And then the other one was just a regular discharge. So we sent him home. The public, the regular pharmacy where they usually get their medications weren't open. So we had to give them like, a 3-day supply. And I felt so bad because like there kept being like little hurdles. Like, I'm trying to send this patient out so they could, get to their home before the storm. And it's just little scuffles like that were occurring. So then after that, I ended up having 4 patients. It was, pretty decent day. It was like hectic. Like, a bunch of people were like, saying like, where'd you park your car? Where's your park your car? Where's the best place to park your car? Da, da, da. So me hearing people saying, oh, the where you parked is not a good idea. Da, da, da. So I went out, got soaked again to change where I parked my car. And then where I parked my car, my manager was like, that's not smart. Why would you park your car there? Da, da, da. She didn't say like that, but you know, basically saying that's not a good idea. Da, da, da. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I have to go outside again to move my car. And mind you, it was raining. So then I went outside again, like, you know, an hour later to move my car and brought it to the front of the hospital. And then when I came back, everybody was like, oh, we could park in the parking garage. Did you park in the parking garage? I'm like, no, I was never aware that we could park in the parking garage. And then they were like, yeah, like you should go try to park in the parking garage. Well, by the time that I tried to park in the parking garage is full. I was like, you know what? When they were telling me that, I was like, it is what it is. Like, I'll just leave my car here. It is what it is at this point. Like, I'm not about to go outside again to wet my uniform. Like, no, I only had 3 uniforms that I came with. I'm not doing that. So I ended up leaving my car there, and then, like, you know, we were watching outside, seeing, you know, the condition of outside, and while taking care of our patient. It was an off day. Like, this is my first time being on team A as a nurse, not team A period. I've been on team A before at a different hospital, but as a tech. But as a nurse, like, it feels so odd. Like, you still have to do things the way that you should. You still have to be professional. Like, it still is a normal day. Like, you still have to pretend it's a normal day, but not really, you know? So it was kind of off. Like, I hate feeling off, like, when I'm in the hospital, because then I feel like I'm making mistakes. I'm not doing things like I should. You know, thank God all of my patients were safe, but it just feels like, you know, that's why they say as a nurse, you need to have a routine. And when that routine kind of like shifts, you feel odd. Like, you're like you have a brain fart. Like, what am I supposed to do? You know? So I had a lot of that, you know, because it was a lot going on. Okay.